Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jewel. I have a flip through to do today of a custom journal. This is a very special client. She has been messaging me what she wanted in her special journal, and I hope I did it justice. So, I am going to do the flip through so she can see it ahead of time. I had this a book from 1942, and I used the front cover and the back cover. Obviously, not the spine, because I built this spine because it's 2.5 inches, and the other spine disintegrated and it was a real skinny little spine. So, but I was able to keep this beautiful ornate book color. Her favorite her favorite color was red. So you'll see a lot of red throughout it. And then there's a lot of personal details in this. And I'm not going to go through all of that. I'm just going to show you the book. So I hand painted canvas paper for the spine, and I did this ornate embellished metal piece here, and there's some gold here and gold here, and some trims. And I used, to mix the color, I used four different Liquitex colors to get this, and then stenciled this gorgeous gold gilding polish. I also built up the spine with blocks, as you can see. I don't know if you can see the dimensions. So I was really pleased with the way the book turned out, and we've got metal corners here on all four sides to protect it. I have metal eyelets, antique eyelets in the front and the back, and a beautiful chiffon tie. I have added some beautiful envelopes and additional writing papers done on cotton and linen and matte medium papers, some handcrafted envelopes, etc., because she had expressed a desire to have more paper and more envelopes for writing notes. I even added I'm not going to untie the bundle, I've got it tied with some chiffon trim, one of my hand collaged large envelopes in here. So there's a packet of that's just extra to go with the journal, as I could not fit everything in here. So I'm going to untie this gorgeous chiffon. It's a very soft trim tie, and you can see it lays quite nicely, but it also lays quite flat because I did do a hollow spine binding. Okay, we're getting into this inside. You'll see some beautiful shades of burgundy and reds and a lot of golds because it went with it, and this is a little shabby chic. This is her writing board, and Shantel, if you're watching this, this is so when you're writing on your pages, it will give you a nice, stable place to write. So that's just tucked on the inside, and her name means Singing Windy Place. Okay, so in the front cover, I've got this rose die cut on some painted gold cardstock, and it says Dream Passionately, and we've got a red crystal there, and then some images. She had sent me some images that she liked, and I was able to find some on my own, and as you can see, there's roses, and this is a postcard. Everything's backed. There's a lot of lace throughout and a lot of trims. Her grandmother and her great-grandmother were lace makers. And her mother was a seamstress. So you're going to see details throughout this that have to do with that, and also her choice of colors, and even some little shabby chic in here as I could, because those are the things that were important to her. This says, I am in awe of flowers, not because of their colors, but because even though they have dirt in their roots, they still bloom. I just love that. I have some beautiful Blue Fern Studio cardstock in here as well as digitals from multiple kits, and I will try to remember all of those and link them below. We have a rose wax seal in this deep burgundy and gold color. Flip here, I have some beautiful rose colored I thought it lent beautifully to this paper. This is wallpaper, vintage wallpaper done on cotton on this side, and it was so pretty. And I had this sari, and then we have an enameled rose there, and this says the Bird Waltz Piano Forte. And I added a little bit of music paper in here because her name says Singing and then Windy Place. So I've got this large tag here, and that's tucked in this. There's a lot of sewing in here. Most of all the journal cards and ephemera, etc. are sewed. The pages are sewn. I created this doily type pocket here and some vintage ephemera. That's so cute. And as you can see, the sewing. Right here we have a pocket with some vintage graphics here, old vintage illustrations. And I tried to choose things that did have some red in them. You will see some red-toned stenciling throughout, and then also some red, just other red elements throughout. Here is a tracing paper, and I usually put tracing paper between my vintage magazine pages. This one's from the late 1800s. This is it's in a authentic. Here are two pieces from the book that I deconstructed to use the covers. She has room here for storing things. This looks to me like a late 1940s and 50s. She said her mother sewed in the 50s, so I did try to put some things in there with that. This is a vintage ledger, and here is some of that vintage music paper. Poppies, beautiful red poppies, and this is out of one of my magazine or my book. My antique style books. We have a key and a ball pin here. All of the elements that are on ball pins, of course, can be removed. Some pretty graphics here. Plenty of room to write. This is a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Quite secure. A lot of room to write here. I trimmed out this bag, some pretty gold and then some burgundy and gold. The name of the book was The Journal of Madame Giovanni, so I put the cover page of the book in here for her. Oh, here it is, 1900. This is from a Delineators magazine, which was a sewing and fashion theme magazine back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, and I love the colored illustration. Got a little pocket here, a couple of brads in this beautiful little image, and I chose it because of her beautiful burgundy red dress. And this is types of needles, which her mama would have used. I've got some textured paste here. I have plenty of textures, and I mean, when I create my books, you know, I like to have textures, sounds, you know, visuals, etc. Okay, in here I have one of my embellished paper clips with some trim, some roses. Here's the back, kind of a shabby chic style paper there. This beautiful envelope, Velcro, and then I have a rose calling card in there. This pocket, I've made a large tag with this gorgeous burgundy and gold paper, and a key, ball pin, and lace. I wanted to add plenty of lace in this because of her grandmother and her great-grandmother. This is from one of my vintage magazines, and I just backed it. Original ephemera. One of my cut-down collage pieces here. And this cute. Little girl washing her hands. This is from one of my old patterns that I had acquired. And this, I think, was more like from the 70s, but vintage nonetheless. I used a button card that I sewed 2 buttons with red thread as the pocket, and here I embossed in gold the word journal. There is lace on the edge of this, and this is a pocket here, and I had this in my stash, Madame Rouge, and oh, where did I acquire that? Oh, I'll have to think about it, because I had several pieces in my stash, and I don't even remember now. I've got some pretty washi down here, and the word vintage embossed up here. Coffee stained paper. Beautiful red rouge paper. This says couture, and this is parchment writing paper. The Butternick Publishing Company is the Delineator magazine. Was published by the Butterick Publishing. Vintage onion skin paper. I had ordered this lovely burgundy color satin, not seam binding, silk, and ironed it because it was really quite a mess, and then I made the fabric ruffles, and I used gold color thread. Here's a vintage button. I did a fabric flip here. This to me was a shabby chic fabric, and then I added some lace. Even though there's a lot of Victorian vintage elements in here, I wanted to put all of the things that she had stated that she liked. In these pockets are secret items just for her viewing. A lot of linen. Oh, is that 1 or 2 pieces? That's 1. It's so heavy, the linen paper. A lot of original magazine pages. There's some gold embossing there with a script stamp. A little gold embossing here, or stamping. I love this, Eaton's hot pressed vellum, because I like to add vellum paper in a lot of my journals. And that was from an old, early 1942 magazine. This is cute. This is a bird carrying J.P. Coates thread. And I used this bust here, covered it with glossy accents, fussy cut it, and used it as a pocket. This is a vintage playing card. And this is a large journaling card, and this says The Little Girl's Sewing Book. So I can see Shantel as a child watching her mom sew. We have an angled pocket here and some trim, and I love this. This is out of an old Reader's Digest. I love that illustration. This is a piece of vintage wallpaper that I fussy cut around the florals, and I just thought it was so pretty to go. This is such a kind of elegant journal. I thought it went well in there. These hats, women's hats, and these beautiful red flowers here. So that's a pocket. Some more texture paste roses. I did do a lot of the vintage style tape in here to make it look aged. I do that with ink, and I made it so it would protect the vulnerable parts of the pages. So I did it here when I sewed it in so it would protect it. Now, this is very fragile, September 1990, and I did not want to cut this. So I simply have it so you can see the date here, 1900, and it says Handsome Street toilets, I don't know, described on page 303. Okay, so my suggestion would be she can, if this starts to crack or anything, just put a little tape on each side, and then that will keep it from breaking, because it is going to be fragile. It's a, you know, it's a really old. We've got this bag here, fabric flip. That's parchment paper. This is neat for secret writing room here. Vintage music. I have this beautiful rhinestone button here on a ball pin. Some more of that trim. This is the cover to the October 1906 Delineator magazine, the original cover. And I added it in here for interest, and it had that pretty red rose color dress and hat on her, so I thought that went quite well. There's 3 signatures. The signatures have quite a few pages in it. I'm not quite sure how many front to back. Linen paper. There's the other part of that magazine. Corsets. I'm glad we don't have to wear corsets today. Some trim up here. I love the way this dyed, this coffee stained paper. You never know what you're going to get, and I thought this was really cool. I'd kept that one in my stash for a while. Here's some old sewing machines on this image. We've got a pocket here with some pretty trims, and then another pocket up here in the corner, and this pretty piece of ephemera tucked up here, and this beautiful card with these beautiful roses, and a copper color eyelet and some lace. And then we get to the back, and I have several pieces of ephemera in here, all kind of sewing related. And this is a antique or a vintage blanket binding packet, and then I made it into a little pocket with this ephemera for writing on. So those are all tucked in there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this flip through, and Shantel, this will be mailed out tomorrow or maybe even this evening if I can get to the post office. So thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.